Hello everyone, this is William Broen again. I'm here in Tucson at the fabulous Tohono Chul Botanic Gardens, and I'm here with my cousins. And
hey everybody.
Let's see if I can, here we go.
You can switch the camera around.
Yep, so.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
We're having a really wonderful time here exploring the Botanic Gardens, and there's a lot of interesting plants here. These are mostly Southeast Arizona native desert plants. And first of all, this plant here, right behind me, is a honey mesquite. The mesquite, I'll show you over here, has edible pods, and the powder behind the actual pods themselves is edible. The pods are too. The pods need to be kind of crushed a bit. They're very hard. And mesquite pods are very nutritious. They're high in protein. They're very high in a lot of nutrients, and they were a major food source in the southwestern desert. The leaves are very astringent, and these were also used medicinally. And there's also resin in the bark, like a lot of tree resins. It has antimicrobial properties that are, those properties are protecting the plant from damage. Also, you might notice there's a lot of cacti, including some of the prickly pear cactus. These have edible pads and fruit. And in the pads, there's a lot of gel. This is true with a lot of succulents. And the gel is helping to protect the plants, or the prickly pear pads, from excessive heat and dryness. It's part of a defense mechanism. We get to take advantage of a lot of the gels and succulents to help to cool and moisturize ourselves. Also, the prickly pear pads and fruit are edible.
Can I tell you something?
Yes, of course. So we have some more information here.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Cora, and if you ever have a chance to try one of the fruit from a cactus, then you should, because it's really good. Especially if you try prickly pear fruit anytime, then you should try it with honey on it.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. And also you can also mix it with different drinks like hibiscus or lemonade. Just make sure if you're ever consuming any part of the prickly pear that every single last bit of the thorns does not exist, because otherwise you'll be hating life. Even the really tiny thorns, they can really cause a lot of damage. So just make sure they're completely off the cactus. Some people will singe them off. You can also, of course, scrape them off. Just make sure you go under where they are, just to scrape them off. Yes.
One time I got a bunch of spines in my tongue from eating a cactus fruit, and I was not happy. I
No.
had spines in my tongue for weeks.
Yes, so that's a really good reason to make sure there's no spines on it. But having said that, the pads and the fruit have been major food sources in many desert areas for a very long time and are still used for food. There's even kind of a comeback, I think, with using cactus fruits. So these are just two really important desert plants. I'm going to walk around just a little bit and we'll see what else we can find here in this garden. Again, it's a wonderful botanic garden in Tucson with lots and lots of amazing plants. See what we have here. The infamous shoya cactus has fruit too. They're not ripe yet. They are edible, but they don't taste as good, I don't think, as the prickly pear fruit. I'm going to show you also, there's a lot of different plants that are in the pea family that grow in the desert that have edible pods. So I'm going to walk around a little bit more, see what we can find here. Have some lice.
Representative of the South Texas fern scrub.
Yeah, it looks like we have some lyceum here too. I'm not sure what variety this one is, though.
Oh, this is isn't this a Texas Ranger here? Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll skip
Also,
that.
It looks a lot like a lyceum.
Yeah, it does.
It's got a similar flower. One name for this is barometer bush because it can sense the humidity in the air and bloom in response to that.
Yeah, there's so many different ways that plants survive in their environment here. Let's see what else we have. Okay, this is getting into the riparian area, I think.
Yeah, we're approaching the.
Oh, a sign plant. A plant that saves like a sign.
Oh, that's making
Yeah.
a joke. It's a sign plant.
A sign plant. Okay. So we have, oh, here's I'm going to show you some examples of prickly pear fruit here.
I've tasted the red kind, and there are different colors and different kinds. That is the purple kind. I've tasted the red kind. It's good with honey.
Yes, really good with honey.
Yep.
Oh, here we are in a riparian area. Riparian areas are areas near rivers and streams, which in the desert or other dry areas can have very distinctly different plants than you'll find in the more dry zones. Including
Marcus was talking about maybe like nutmeg.
oh, hackberry, yeah. Yeah, we got a hackberry tree. This has some edible berries.
They also have warty bark. That's a common. The warty bark is a common identifying characteristic of hackberries. The bark is really smooth in some areas and very warty, as they say, in other areas.
Oh, here's some, looks like we have some berries right up here. The really small berries, but they are edible. And what do we have over here? Riparian. Is this what I think it is? Let's take a look. Oh yeah, so this plant that I'm about to show you has a very distinctive flower. It's a little dried out. It's a plant called Yerba Mansa. Yeah, like Yerba Mansa. So Yerba Mansa, one of the many reasons to protect wetlands, especially desert wetlands, that's where it tends to grow. I'm going to kind of get to where there's some Yerba Mansa that can be right behind me. So it's this plant right down here. Oh, I think there's some in bloom. Oh, here we go.
And what is Yerba Mansa good for?
Well, Yerba Mansa is one of those plants that is very warming. It has a very warming quality to it. Unlike I was mentioning, the cactus gel is very cooling. Yerba Mansa is very peppery, so it has a very warming effect in the body. It's good for stagnant conditions. It often grows near stagnant water, like a lot of wetlands areas. So it grows in a stagnant area. It moves stagnant conditions in the body. So it's used a lot for stuck mucus, for wounds that are not resolving very well, for illnesses that aren't recovering very well. And traditionally it's used for all kinds of inflammation, especially wounds that don't heal well, inflammation that's kind of persistent, any kind of congestion, and really any kind of cold condition. So when herbalists talk about plants being warming or cooling, a lot of it's just very common sense. Some plants are very hot, kind of get things going in the body, like ginger, cayenne, that kind of thing. And yerba mansa, they're all warming plants. A lot of plants are cooling, like cactus gel, jojoba, a lot of these other desert plants. I'll talk about some of those later. And we have a question from Kevin.
Is yerba mansa good for any respiratory ailments?
Yes, it is traditionally used for congestion and also inflammation and infections. It actually the essential oils in yerba santa, like many essential oils, are very antimicrobial.
Oh, okay, thanks. The yerba santa, that's a different one, right?
Yeah, yerba santa, people confuse them. The yerba mansa is in the lizard tail family, and it grows in these wetlands areas. Yerba santa was in the waterleaf family. They decided, the taxonomists decided to put the entire waterleaf family into the borage family. But yerba santa is also used a lot for respiratory conditions. It's actually my favorite medicinal plant. Used a lot also for congestion. But yerba santa is very, very drying. So it's not good for everyone. People with really dry conditions might not benefit from it. I'm going to actually do an entire video on yerba santa in the near future.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
where can you find yerba santa growing? Is it more in California, or does it grow in Arizona at all?
There's different varieties of yerba santa. There's a kind with really narrow leaves that grows in Arizona, the Erudictin angustifolium. But there's several species also in California, near where I live. There's a woolly leaf variety, Erudictin crassifolium. There's also there's resinous leaf varieties like the one in Arizona, Erudictin californicum and trichocalyx, and a couple more rare ones. They're all used pretty similarly, and they've all been used a lot traditionally, just like the yerba mansa here is, but they are from completely different plant families.
Okay, thanks.
But incredibly enough, they're both used for respiratory conditions. But there's a lot of herbs that are used in traditions that have some Spanish influence that have yerba in the name because it means herb. So there's like many yerbas that are existent.
Now mansa means tame, doesn't it? So how it got that name.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. There's a lot of speculation how yerba mansa got the name yerba mansa. Mansa means tame. I guess it can tame a lot of inflammatory conditions in the body or congested conditions, so maybe that's it. I'm not really sure, so I'm speculating here. But yerba mansa definitely has a long history of traditional use, still is used by a lot of herbalists and people that still use the traditional medicines of this area. And it's a very wonderful herb. It's one that not a lot of people know about. But again, it's one of the good reasons to protect desert wetlands, because it really only grows in these kind of wetlands areas of the desert Southwest.
I've seen it in San Diego. Of course, San Diego is pretty desert.
Yeah, it's very common in San Diego County and different parts of southern and central California, but it usually grows in really dry areas in wetlands. Yeah. So that's the next plant. I'm going to talk about a plant across the street here, the creosote bush, which is this one right over here. So creosote bush is a plant that can grow. Oh, my mask is getting loose. It's a plant that can grow to hundreds of years old, actually. And in order to live that long in such a hot, dry environment as it grows in, it has to produce really, really strong stuff. So creosote bush has really unique and strong antioxidants and also a lot of antimicrobial properties keeping the plant viable for a very long time. A lot of herbalists will call creosote bush chaparral, which is kind of crazy because chaparral is a term that's used to describe an entire ecosystem. But anyways, that confuses a lot of people. But this is the same plant. It's creosote bush. It's Laurea tridentata. Grows throughout the desert Southwest, in the desert, in really hot, dry, harsh environments. But it can live a very long time. And again, this is largely due to its antioxidant compounds, including something called NDGA, which is a very strong antioxidant. So there's been a lot of research on it too, a lot of recent research, and it seems like it can really be beneficial for helping us deal with a lot of the pathogens that exist in the environment. I'm not making any claims here, but I'm just saying this kind of goes along with the traditional use of creosote bush. It was traditionally used for many types of infections, bacterial, fungal, etc. So it's a pretty amazing plant. It does have really, really strong resinous compounds, so a lot of people recommend not doing it long term. But that's a creosote bush. Very, very, very common in the Tucson area. I'm going to walk around a little more here. Oh, here we go. This is jojoba. Right behind me is some jojoba. It's right here. This is jojoba. Jojoba, if you've ever used jojoba in any products, jojoba oil is very moisturizing and cooling to the skin. It's used a lot in shampoos. It's really good for dry scalp, and there's a lot of products that have jojoba oil in it. So jojoba oil, of course, is the wax that covers the nuts, which are not out right now. But the wax is protecting the nut from damage as it's growing in a hot, dry environment. And then we get to take advantage of the properties of the wax that's, again, covering the nut. So this is something that's used a lot in natural cosmetics. And again, it's another way of many ways that we take advantage of a plant survival mechanism, especially these desert plants that often have to survive in these hot, dry environments. It's kind of a theme that I'm doing here. So this was a little brief synopsis of a lot of these desert plants. I might come across another one. I guess I'll keep the video running just in case we come across maybe one more plant to talk about, or two, or three. Oh, here we go. Here's another mesquite tree. Nice, really big one here.
This is not a native plant, but it's one of the stapelias. It's similar to one that I have growing that have the flowers. I don't know if this particular one does, but a lot of them have flowers that smell like rotting flesh because they're fly pollinated. In fact, there's a fly on that one right now. I don't know if I want to give it a whiff, but it's pretty similar to the ones that I have growing at home. Sorry, I opened it.
Oh, of course.
Non-native one, but I was
that's okay.
to see it.
I talk about a lot of non-native ones in my herb walks too. Mostly wild plants.
There, you might as well talk about them, right?
And our iconic saguaro. Oh, is that more yerba mansa?
Oh, it looks like, yeah, it is.
Here's some more Anamopsis californica, or yerba mansa. Just kind of point at this one here. And this one over here. Again, it loves these kind of wetlands areas, especially where there's a lot of stagnant water. I think I'll go ahead and conclude this video for now. But if you want more information about the walks that I do, my website is willsherbaladventures.com, and that's one word, Will's Herbal Adventures, WILLS HERBALADVENTURES.com. If you want to support this effort, and I will be putting lots and lots more videos on, for now you can PayPal me at William Broen. And let me see. And I think that's it. And
Don't forget to smash the like button.
oh, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to my videos. And we are now in the meditation garden, and so I will turn off the video in a bit so we can all meditate and enjoy the wonders of nature here in the Botanic Garden. And does everyone want to say goodbye?
Bye. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye. You're on video.